While much of the world remains oblivious to daily routines, the U.S. Navy is quietly engaged in a battle that rarely makes headlines. Drug smuggling organizations deploy cocaine-laden submarines, attempting to slip past the Navy's heavily armed warships and machine gun-equipped helicopters. These high-stakes operations seldom capture media attention or public interest, despite involving billions of dollars tied to powerful drug cartels. Why isn't this war being discussed? What happens when drug cartels are cornered on the high seas? Join us as we uncover how the U.S. Navy dismantles criminal enterprises with hammer-like precision through relentless campaigns. The maritime drug war is far more intricate than commonly understood, extending beyond speedboats and hidden cargo to include fully operational narco submarines. These vessels often travel submerged, evading standard radar detection. Each voyage can transport cocaine worth hundreds of millions of dollars for smuggling networks. These narco subs didn't emerge overnight but evolved over decades. In the 1980s, Colombian cartels began using simple submerged tubes towed behind boats. It was a clever tactic, but not enough to outsmart military forces long-term. Consequently, they innovated and upgraded their methods. By the 1990s, drug smuggling advanced with the introduction of self-propelled submarines. These aren't military-grade but are handcrafted in clandestine workshops deep within Colombia's jungles, primarily from fiberglass and wood, assembled in remote swampy areas under dense forest canopies to avoid aerial or satellite detection. Today, narco subs represent remarkable engineering feats. Despite being built by untrained individuals, measuring about 79 feet in length, they can travel up to 2,485 miles without refueling, carrying as much as 11 tons of drugs, and remaining nearly fully submerged to evade detection. A typical crew of 5 endures long periods in cramped, sweltering conditions with minimal amenities. Each sub costs between $1 and $2 million to build, yet can transport cargo valued at over $150 million. Despite high interception risks, the enormous profits make them a lucrative choice for smugglers. The latest models are increasingly hard to detect, painted gray-blue to blend with the ocean, and featuring aerodynamic designs to minimize wake. Some are even lead-lined to reduce heat signatures, making them harder for military aircraft using infrared to spot. A major challenge for law enforcement during interdictions is the sub's self-destruct feature, with special valves that can flood the vessel in minutes if detected. This causes the sub and its cargo to sink rapidly to ocean depths of thousands of feet, where recovery is nearly impossible. In 2024, Operation Orion highlighted the technological advancements of these subs when one was intercepted en route to Australia. The vessel had traversed over 9,942 miles across the Pacific, revealing not only a new smuggling corridor but also undeniable proof of the cartel's long-range operational capabilities. The confrontation between criminal organizations and military forces continues to evolve with an unending cycle of adaptation. For every design advancement by cartels, military agencies counter with cutting-edge detection technologies like thermal imaging, drone surveillance, and AI-driven pattern recognition to identify the slightest wake or heat signature from subs. However, intelligence experts estimate that for every sub intercepted, 3 to 4 others succeed, perpetuating a sprawling drug smuggling network across continents. So, how do you intercept a nearly invisible submarine? This challenge gave rise to Operation Martillo, the largest drug interdiction campaign in history. As cartels grew too powerful for any single nation to tackle alone, the world united. In January 2012, a coalition was formed under the powerful name Operation Martillo, meaning hammer in Spanish. 14 nations, including the United States, United Kingdom, France, Spain, Guatemala, and Honduras, joined forces. Martillo directly targeted transportation routes, the cartel's greatest vulnerability. Warships, aircraft, and special forces patrolled waters between South America and the US, forming an almost impenetrable barrier against drug shipments. Results came swiftly. In its first year, authorities arrested 339 smugglers and seized 101 drug-laden vessels. In 2011 alone, the operation confiscated 131 tons of cocaine, valued at an estimated $2.35 billion on U.S. streets. Governments also seized $21 million in cash destined for cartels and $16 million worth of goods used to conceal or transport drugs. Operation Martillo was just the beginning. By late 2024, Operation Orion elevated multinational efforts to new heights. This time, 62 nations participated, from small coastal states to naval superpowers. Over 6 intense weeks, they shared intelligence, tracked suspicious vessels, and intercepted drug shipments across global waters. No prior anti-drug operation matched Orion's success. It seized 248 tons of cocaine in a single sweep, setting a world record. Combined with over 1,102 tons of marijuana and other narcotics, the total street value of confiscated goods surpassed $8.5 billion. Each nation contributed unique strengths to this collective effort. The U.S. provided advanced radar systems capable of detecting small vessel signatures from satellites. The Netherlands supplied unmanned underwater drones for vessel inspections. Colombian forces leveraged local expertise to pinpoint jungle launch points. Even landlocked nations assisted by tracking financial flows and communications. What made Orion revolutionary wasn't just its scale, but its sophisticated coordination. Military commanders from multiple nations collaborated in real-time command centers, sharing live intelligence and executing simultaneous raids across time zones. When smugglers attempted to reroute after hearing of a bust, they stumbled into another nation's patrol zone. These operations didn't just remove drugs from streets, but yielded critical intelligence. Every captured sailor, vessel, and communication device offered deeper insights into cartel operations. Smuggling route maps grew more detailed, and contact lists of cartel members expanded. With each seizure, cocaine street prices in the U.S. rose due to dwindling supply. The message is clear. The open seas are no longer a safe haven for drug smugglers, no matter how advanced their evasion tactics. With global unity, cartels must develop even more sophisticated tools to avoid capture. But what dangerous machinery do cartel leaders deploy to evade justice? Smugglers don't rely on just any boats to transport contraband. They've built a formidable fleet rivaling some navies. At the core of this criminal armada are two distinct yet equally lethal vessel types: lightning, fast speedboats, and stealthy submarines. Known as go-fasts in smuggling circles, these speedboats are the traditional workhorses for cocaine transport. Measuring around 30 feet long, they're equipped with 3 to 4 outboard engines, each boasting 250 horsepower. Like strapping multiple sports car engines to a small boat, these motors propel the vessels to speeds exceeding 80 miles per hour, making direct pursuit nearly impossible. Go-fasts maintain a low profile on the water, often painted blue to blend with the ocean. They typically carry just one operator to maximize space for fuel and drugs. With 1,981 gallons of reserve fuel, these boats can travel over 497 miles without stopping, enough to span distances like Colombia to Jamaica or Bahamas to Florida. What makes these vessels particularly dangerous is their historical roots. They weren't invented by drug smugglers. Originally, they were used by bootleggers during America's Prohibition era in the 1920s and 1930s. Those smugglers perfected the design to outrun Coast Guard vessels, and modern drug traffickers have simply upgraded the concept with new technology. To counter these speed demons, the U.S. Coast Guard established specialized units called HITRON, short for Helicopter Interdiction Tactical Squadron. These teams operate MH-65D Dolphin helicopters armed with machine guns and sniper rifles. Upon spotting a go-fast, they don't attempt to chase. Instead, they descend from above, using loudspeakers to order the vessel to stop. If it flees, Hawaii-Tron sharpshooters target the engines with .50 caliber sniper rifles, disabling the boat with pinpoint accuracy without harming those aboard. This tactic is so effective that cartels now hide go-fasts during daylight. They disguise them as fishing boats with fake gear or build hidden compartments below the waterline to store cocaine, making the vessels appear empty during inspections. Some cartels have even developed hybrid boats combining go-fast speed with submarine stealth. Known as low-profile vessels, these boats sit extremely low on the water, exposing only a minimal profile above the surface. Painted ocean blue and constructed from radar-resistant materials, they're far harder to detect from patrol aircraft, despite slower speeds of about 30 miles per hour compared to go-fasts. With submarines lurking below and speedboats racing above, smugglers have crafted a dual-pronged strategy that keeps law enforcement guessing about the next shipment's origin. Yet cartels didn't anticipate America's secret weapon on the seas. How did a single ship cost drug lords $500 million? In early 2025, one vessel struck fear into narco bosses across South America. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter James became a floating nightmare for cartels during a relentless 112-day mission that kingpins still whisper about. The cutter James is no ordinary ship. At 418 feet long, this legendary vessel is akin to a floating city with a singular purpose: hunting drug smugglers. It carries a highly trained crew of 150, working in shifts around the clock. The ship can remain at sea for months without returning to port, making it the ultimate predator for tracking drug routes. What made the 2025 mission extraordinary was its staggering success. In under 4 months, this single ship seized over 48,060 pounds of drugs, enough to supply a mid-sized U.S. city for a year. The haul's estimated value was around $510 million, marking one of the heaviest financial blows ever dealt to cartel operations. January's activities were particularly striking. On the 5th of January, the crew deployed a drone that spotted a suspicious vessel off Ecuador's coast. Unlike standard military drones, the Coast Guard uses specialized maritime models capable of 18-hour flights and equipped with advanced cameras that can read ship names from dozens of miles away. The drones silently tracked the vessel from above until boarding teams launched a surprise strike, apprehending 3 smugglers and seizing over 2,028 pounds of cocaine. Just 1 day later, on the 6th of January, they struck again. A maritime patrol aircraft, coordinating with cutter James, detected 3 go-fasts traveling together, an unusual and risky move for smugglers. Using helicopter teams, they intercepted all 3 in a perfectly coordinated operation, arresting 9 suspects and confiscating a massive 13,955 pounds of cocaine. Smugglers shifted tactics on the 7th of January, deploying a low-profile vessel designed to evade radar, but the HITRON helicopter team was prepared. With precision marksmanship, they disabled the vessel's engines without harming the crew. Another 8,245 pounds of cocaine never reached U.S. streets. When smugglers attempted to escape on the 18th of January by dumping cargo overboard, cutter James didn't relent. Their high-speed pursuit boats chased the smugglers while other team members recovered floating drug packages. The retrieved haul, nearly 6,000 pounds of cocaine, would have netted cartels millions in profit. The Navy also lent support. Ships like USS Minneapolis-St. Paul and USS St. Louis conducted separate interdictions in Caribbean waters, adding hundreds of pounds of cocaine to the seizure tally. These operations dealt severe blows to the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation cartels. Intelligence gathered during these missions exposed key smuggling routes, identified cartel members, and revealed new trafficking methods, all of which are being used to plan the next wave of interdictions to further dismantle these criminal empires. Behind every successful drug bust is a hidden mastermind. Who truly orchestrates this billion-dollar game of cat and mouse? Tucked away in Key West, Florida, stands a building that appears unremarkable from the outside. Inside, however, an elite team drives what may be the world's most successful anti-drug campaign. Welcome to GIATF South Joint Interagency Task Force South, where America's war on drugs is coordinated by the finest military and law enforcement experts. GIATF South serves as the nexus for intelligence, from dozens of nations and agencies to catch smugglers in the act. Think of it as the ultimate control center for drug interdiction operations, where satellite imagery, radar data, vessel positions, and covert intelligence converge to hunt criminals. What sets GIATF apart is how it unites individuals who don't typically collaborate. FBI agents work alongside Navy officers, Defense Electronics Agency specialists partner with Coast Guard commanders, CIA analysts share data with customs personnel. With representatives from other nations, this team gains a comprehensive perspective, not just fragmented pieces. The command center resembles a movie set, with a vast room featuring giant screens displaying maps of the Caribbean and Pacific, dotted with markers for every ship, plane, and sub in the region. Specially trained analysts monitor these screens 24/7, scanning for unusual movements or suspicious patterns that might indicate drug shipments. When GIATF detects an anomaly, they don't wait for approval to act. They have direct control over ships, aircraft, and helicopters on standby. Rapid response is critical, as drug vessels can vanish in minutes if they sense detection. One of GIATF's secret weapons is the Lead-It Team's law enforcement detachments from the Coast Guard. These small, highly trained units are deployed on Navy warships, transforming military vessels into anti-drug powerhouses. When a Navy destroyer spots a suspicious craft, Coast Guard teams handle boarding and arrests, solving a complex legal issue. Military forces can't make arrests, but Coast Guard officers can. This collaboration is highly effective. Navy ships provide firepower and advanced tech, like USS Gravely and USS Spruance, with radar systems capable of detecting small vessels from over 99 miles away. Meanwhile, Coast Guard teams bring legal authority and specialized boarding skills for safe interdictions. GIATF South doesn't just react to smugglers, it anticipates their moves. Using powerful computers and years of drug route data, they generate heat maps showing high-probability paths smugglers might take. This allows them to position ships and aircraft in perfect ambush spots days before drug boats depart South American shores. The command center has become so effective that cartels now offer large bounties for information on its operations. Yet GIATF continuously adapts its methods, staying one step ahead in a high-stakes chess game with some of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations. The command center may be the brain, but what about the situation on the streets? How have drug smuggling networks evolved since the Miami era? In the 1980s, Miami was the main gateway for cocaine flooding into the United States. Drugs were everywhere from nightclubs and highways to upscale neighborhoods. Smugglers operated brazenly. Cash flowed so fast that banks couldn't keep count. The drug trade wasn't just big, it was flashy, violent, and loud. But as the neon lights of that era faded, the drug trade didn't die, it grew more sophisticated. Today, cocaine traffickers don't rely on a single massive cartel controlling everything. Instead, smaller, independent groups collaborate like pieces of a puzzle. Some cultivate and process drugs in South America. Others handle ocean transport or hide drugs in legitimate cargo. There are even groups in Europe and Oceania specializing in local sales and distribution. One of the biggest shifts is technology. Smugglers now use encrypted phones, GPS trackers, and even drones to monitor shipments. Some vessels are so well equipped they're nearly invisible to radar. Others are disguised as fishing boats or hidden in containers among legal goods, and the sea remains the preferred highway. A significant portion of cocaine bound for the U.S. still moves by water, especially via routes hugging Central America's coastline. These paths are long, secretive, and perilous. Smugglers may switch boats mid-journey or dump cargo overboard if they feel threatened. Some even deploy homemade narco subs to haul tons of drugs at once. These aren't mere rumors. They've been found packed with narcotics and operated by crews trained to stay hidden. Often floating just below the surface, they're incredibly hard to detect. It's a high-stakes game of hide and seek. In response, U.S. forces like the Coast Guard and Navy have intensified their tactics. Patrol aircraft scour the skies. Warships employ radar and sonar. Teams track suspected routes in real time. It's a relentless pursuit requiring constant updates. Drug smugglers adapt quickly. If a route is blocked, they test another. If a method fails, they try something new. It's no longer just about speed, it's about staying one step ahead. While Miami's past looks like a wild movie, today's networks are quiet, complex, and global. Yet the goal remains unchanged: move product, make money, and avoid capture. The war rages on, with both sides watching the other's next move. It's time to sign off. We hope today's content has provided valuable insights. If you found it compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging videos in the future. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, and we'll see you at the same time tomorrow.